Good morning and welcome to this morning's reflection. We begin to look at Henri Nouwen's book, Can You Drink the Cup? And today we look at the cup of sorrow. Whose cup is this? It is our cup, the cup of human suffering. For each of us, our sorrows are deeply personal. And for all of us, our sorrows too are universal. Now let us look at the man of sorrows. He hangs on a cross with outstretched arms. It is Jesus, condemned by Pontius Pilate, crucified by Roman soldiers, and ridiculed by Jews and Gentiles. But it is also us, the whole human race, people of all times and all places, uprooted from the earth as a spectacle of agony for the entire universe to watch. When I am lifted up from the earth, Jesus said, I shall draw people to myself. Jesus, the man of sorrows, and we, the people of sorrow. We hang there between heaven and earth, crying out, God, our God, why have you forsaken us? Can you drink the cup that I am going to drink? Jesus asked his friends. They answered yes, but they had no idea what he was talking about. Jesus' cup is the cup of sorrow. Not just his own sorrow, but the sorrow of the whole human race. It is a cup full of physical, mental, and spiritual anguish. It is the cup of starvation, of torture, of loneliness, of rejection, of abandonment, and immense anguish. It is the cup of bitterness. Who wants to drink it? It is the cup that Isaiah calls the cup of God's wrath, the chalice, the stupefying cup you have drained to the dregs. Isaiah 51 in verse 17. And what the second angel in the book of Revelation calls the wine of retribution, which Babylon gave the whole world to drink. When the moment to drink that cup came for Jesus, he said, My soul is sorrowful to the point of death. His agony was so intense that his sweat fell to the ground like great drops of blood. His close friends, James and John, whom he had asked if they could drink the cup that he was going to drink, were there with him, but fast asleep, unable to stay awake with him in his sorrow. In his immense loneliness, he fell on his face and cried out, My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass me by. And Jesus could not face it. Too much pain to hold, too much suffering to embrace, too much agony to live through. He did not feel that he could drink the cup filled to the brim with sorrow. Why then could he still say yes? We can't fully answer that question, except to say that beyond all the abandonment experienced in body and mind, Jesus still had a spiritual bond with the one he called Abba. He possessed a trust beyond betrayal, a surrender beyond despair, a love beyond all fears. This intimacy beyond all human intimacies made it possible for Jesus to allow the request to let the cup pass him by become a prayer directed to the one who had called him my beloved. The bond of love had not been broken. It couldn't be felt in the body, nor thought through in the mind, but it was there, beyond all feelings and thoughts, and it maintained the communion underneath all disruptions. It was the spiritual sinew, that intimate communion with his Father, that made him hold on to the cup and pray, "My Father, let it be as you, not I, would have it." Jesus did not throw the cup away in despair. No, he kept it in his hands. He was willing to drink it to the dregs. This was not a show of willpower or staunch determination or great heroism. This was a deep spiritual yes. Yes to Abba, the lover of his wounded heart. When we contemplate our own sorrow-filled heart, when we see those who are in pain, the poor around the world, the immense anguish of men and women and children far and wide, then we wonder where the great yes has to come from. Even in our own hearts, in the hearts of our fellow people, we hear the loud cry, "O God, if it is possible, let this cup of sorrow pass me by." We hear it in the voice of young people begging for food, in the little cries of starving children, in the screams of tortured prisoners, in the angry shouts of those who are protesting against oppression, in the destruction of the planet's ecological balance, and in the endless pleas for justice and peace all over the world. It is a prayer rising up to God, not as an incense, but as a wild flame. From where then will come that great yes? Let it be as you, not I, will have it. Who can say yes when the voice of love has not been heard? Who can say yes when there is no Abba to speak to? Who can say yes when there is no moment of consolation? In the midst of Jesus' anguished prayer, asking his Father to take his cup of sorrow away, there was one moment of consolation, and only Luke mentions it. He says, "Then an angel appeared to him, coming from heaven to give him strength." In the midst of the sorrows is consolation. In the midst of the darkness is light. In the midst of despair is hope. In the midst of Babylon is a glimpse of Jerusalem. In the midst of the army of demons is the consoling angel. The cup of sorrow, inconceivable as it seems, is also the cup of joy. Only when we discover this in our own lives can we ever consider drinking it. Amen.